So my three favorite keyboard shortcuts are Shift S, Shift E, and G. Now I honestly found it kind of hard to incorporate keyboard shortcuts into my workflow when I was first learning onshape. So my recommendation would be pick 2 or 3 commands that you use a lot and then figure out the shortcuts for those commands and then try and incorporate them into your workflow. And over time, you'll just find out new commands that you want to incorporate. There's so many shortcuts that I like, but I tried to condense it down to 3 that I really like. We can start off with Shift S. The reason why I chose Shift S, and I made another video about midpoints that you can also watch, but it has 2 functions that I really like. When you're kind of in this feature space right here, if you do Shift S, it'll start a new sketch, and you can see it just popped up a new sketch right here. You just select a sketch plane and you're good to go. Now that's pretty handy. My next keyboard shortcut that I really enjoy is G. So when you're in a sketch and you press G, you get a corner rectangle. Now a corner rectangle is like the cornerstone of my workflow. This is just like my go-to. Anytime I start a sketch, it's usually always with rectangles. I don't use the line command that much, even though many people would probably think that would be, oh, you know, like you use that the most. No, I use the rectangle command way more. And I don't really enjoy the center rectangle. I just find it kind of hard. So it has its time and its place, but I prefer the corner rectangle. Anyway, so I'm gonna press G again. I'm gonna do some more. I'm just gonna make some little fun shapes in here. The cool part about Shift S is when you're in a sketch, it means something else. So Shift S here helps you start a new point. And so you can start a new point on a midpoint. And this is a game changer for me. And here I'm just gonna use the vertical command, which is V. That revolutionized my workflow. It really sped things up for me. And we can use it again over here. We can find this midpoint. And when we set these horizontal, then it just cuts back on the amount of dimensions we need. It's just so much cleaner, so much nicer. Now the final command that is in my top 3 would be Shift E. So I'll just do Shift E, and look at that. We got an extrude right there. I don't even have to exit out of the sketch, but that also works. So let's see, we close that. Let's say we're in the sketch, right? We were just editing. If we check the sketch and then we do Shift E, it just gives us the option to choose where we want to extrude from, and we can click on it and boom, we got the extrude. But I really like to do it while I'm still in the sketch. I just think it looks really cool. It saves you a bit of time as well. So now these are my 3 favorite kind of keyboard shortcuts, just because I like the dual purpose of the Shift S. I like Shift E because I think it looks cool. And then I had to throw G in there because it's so crucial to my workflow. Now, however, if I were to go over the commands that I use most frequently, and I might make another video going in more depth on this, I would say the commands I use most frequently would be G for the corner rectangle, D to dimension, and then these relations. So E, I use equal a lot, I use vertical a lot, and I also use horizontal a lot. So use the center point circle a lot, so C, and trimming. So M. So if we're not talking about just favorites and we're talking instead about commands that I use the most, those would definitely be commands that I use the most. Anyway, I hope that helped. I hope you choose a few commands and see if you can add them into your workflow and speed things up a bit. Have a good one.